Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
It's Kristie J from the Chisholm Report. You're tuned in to Hot 702.5.
This is Hot 702.5. This is Kristen Gamer, and you are tuned into my mom, Kristie J.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Come talk shit and politics with Kristie J from the Chisholm Report every Saturday at 10 a.m. on hot7025fm.com.
Yeah, election time's coming. Who you gonna vote for? Yeah, if I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. Instead of spending billions on the war, I can use that money so I can feed the poor. Cause I know some so poor. When it rains, that's when they shower, scream and fight the power. That's when the vulture devours. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream, wake up with screams, sounds of M16. So take this medal of honor for your bravery. I wish you the best, kid, you and your family. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president. But the radio won't play this. They call it rebel music. How can you refuse it? Children of Moses, tell the children the truth, the truth. It's not all that bling that's diamond. Tell them the truth, the truth. Most of y'all wear Cuban zirconium. Tell them the truth, the truth. Yeah, your soul is worth more than diamonds.
If I was president, all blacks, I had reparation, no segregation, feed the nation so there's no famine. Muslims, Jews, Christians, would all hold hands every week on the beach, party by the sand. Word up, take trips on Air Force One. Don't need to bring the homeless with no sneaks to Air Force One. Better schools in the hood, better teachers for the classes, making money, paying no tax. Find the best scientists, tell them come up with an answer. I want the cure for AIDS and cancer, but I gotta watch my back. Snipers on the hill with the steel, waiting to JF
I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president. I feel the rain coming, let me play my guitar for them right now.
Let's go.
Refugees, yeah.
Good morning. Thank you guys for coming in. This is Kristie J, and you're on with the Chisholm Report. I am here to be able to give you some additional information about what's happening locally, nationally, and internationally with government and politics, and how it affects us as a people on an everyday basis, and how we are able to use it to benefit us or to be able to call it to the table. I am educated from Southern University. I have a political science degree and a business management degree. My whole purpose is I talk to people all the time. They talk about how government, politics, news isn't for them. And I wanted to be able to give them a place where they can understand what's actually happening and why it's important for us to be knowledgeable about what's happening around us. The policies that they put into place, who actually votes on these things. These are important things for us to know so we can be able to more or less govern our household accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in. Today is August the 5th, and I wanted to go over the events that's going on today. So if you are looking for backpacks, school supplies, haircuts, things like that, we have a couple of different organizations that are going to be helping you today. And today we will start off with Sigma Safe Summer. And they are going to be doing a block party today. And today is August the 5th at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Villa Capri Apartments, that is at 1701 J Street, Las Vegas, Nevada 89106 mob. And they are saying that you can park inside of the Matt Kelly Elementary School parking lot, which is next door, and they will be giving out school supplies and stuff like that today. They also have a co-host of that Matt Kelly Elementary School. Back to school drive today for the Community Resource Fair, and that will just started at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and that is at 8275 Spring Mountain Road, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117, and that is at Desert Breeze Community Center. Learning and Row backpack giveaway started at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. today, and that is at 4450 East Owens Avenue, and that is at 89110. So if you are looking for supplies or want to be able to save a couple of little dollars to be able to put towards other things, this is a great way for you to take advantage of the programs that are out there. And let's make sure that we are participating, because if we don't, these programs go away. So these things help families that are not able to actually just go out and go buy things. And even if you're a taxpayer, the organizations are supposed to be nonprofit organizations, but they do get government funding. Okay, and the government funding is not government funding. You fund the government. Your tax dollars fund the government. So I would be going to go get everything that is owed to me. Okay, so if you want to be able to get supplies for you, some kids, bring them out so they can be able to see what's going on in the community, get these kids some haircuts, and see what they have for you guys. Okay, and I hope you guys are having a great Saturday. So my show today is about asking questions. Okay, questions that I have of different leaders, organizations, governors, presidents, and everything else that I have not gotten answered, and I want an answer on them. Okay, the first thing that I want to talk about is our governor here in Nevada is his name is Lombardo. I also found out that was the name of one of the biggest mob boss lawyers. I found out he's related to him just yesterday, but I wanted to be able to speak to him about some of the things that he vetoed over this last couple of months. But I want to first start off about the teachers here having a strike and what Lombardo is saying about what they are owed. Let's go ahead and go into the clip.
Joyce. Governor Joe Lombardo weighing into the stalemate between the Clark County School District and the teachers union on a new contract. He did help lead an effort to invest $2 billion more into public education. Both CCSD and the CCEA are set to meet again for contract negotiations in 2 weeks.
Hopefully they come to a solution, because who suffers from this, right? The kids suffer from it. The teachers themselves suffer it. The families suffer from it. But, it's important for people, teachers to
block teachers from striking premature, since the union hasn't even made that decision.
Okay, so I agree with them that they do deserve it, but the problem is you're not following what you're saying, because the program that you're asking them to put more money into is basically saying that people can be able to pick and choose where their kids want to go to school. I believe that this is a double-bladed sword, because let's just be honest. If you don't want your kids to go to a school with black kids and Hispanic kids, you're going to pick a school that you can be able to get your kid into that is not in that area. And if you live in that area and you still want to be able to do that, then you will leave there. But the problem is each one of these schools are awarded for attendance, for the admission. So if we end up losing so many admissions to different schools, they're going to lose more and more funding. So that means that those poor people that have to stay in that area for that school will not get the funding that they need. This is the same thing I thought about when they were trying to add a secondary school district here. Why, when y'all keep cutting all the money for the school district here, period, would you try to make a secondary school district so then you can be able to separate these kids? And Lombardo, I have questions. Some of the stuff that you're doing is kind of shady, and it doesn't sound like you really care about the people. Like, one of the issues I have is you vetoed a bill. Lombardo, call in 702-551-5261. You vetoed a bill, okay, for debt collectors who are calling for student debt, okay, to have your debt in their possession. They have to own your debt for them to call you. I think that's a no-brainer, Lombardo. Why would you veto that bill and allow these people to scam people? Because that's what happens, okay? They don't own the loan, so they're calling on it, and then now all of a sudden they have to request for that loan to come to them for them to be able to pay it out if you end up speaking to them. So, Lombardo, why? Why would you say it's okay for your people here in Nevada to be scammed by these companies, which it is illegal for them to call you if they don't own your loan? Why would you veto that? Okay, I'm having issues with that. Why, when the head of the school district, why is he getting such a huge amount of a raise, and then the people that's actually in there dealing with the kids, okay, actually going into the trenches? I say the trenches because you know how these kids are, going into the trenches, okay, with these kids on an everyday basis are getting pennies. Why would you be the one to get the money? Why wouldn't you, as the head of the school district, say, you know what, I don't need an additional I think he got $150,000 added to his salary? You could have split that up for a couple of people, but you didn't. You took it for yourself, and then that's also why I say everybody that was sitting on this school district board before Tamika Henry, everybody that was sitting on this school board, y'all can give it up and quit. I mean, like, it doesn't make any sense that y'all keep taking from our kids, from the programs to the money and everything else, and then y'all come in with these additional bull, and this is what y'all fill it in with. Okay, now, what I do agree with you, Lombardo, is that the money that they're holding for COVID, that money needs to go into that plan of being able to help these teachers and administration and people that help with these kids. I don't think it should go to you. I don't think it should go to building on any more of these rich ass schools, especially when you have such a deficit in between of a certain school. Okay, you have schools in Henderson, Green Valley, that the kids go home with a laptop, tablet, whatever the case may be. All their information is online and everything else. And then you have schools that's in the West, in the North, that they barely have paper. Make it make sense for me, because I'm tired of us always pushing this aside. And once again, my people, this is when it's important for us to nominate, not just vote, not just endorse somebody that's already out there, but being able to put who we believe is going to put our kids in best interest at heart first. Okay, so Lombardo, call in, because I'm not really feeling some of the stuff that you got going on here. Okay, let's go ahead and go into some other things. Now, there was some additional questions. Oh, let me also say this, Lombardo, we normally don't get along on everything, but one thing that I did feel like you spoke on, and I agreed, was when you talked about the police department, and that defunding the police department really didn't mean defunding the police department, but being able to remove certain duties so it would make sense. Where are you with that? Here we are, okay, months into your first term, and I haven't seen shit. I haven't seen a damn thing on that information when you were talking about defunding this police for them to have different programs to help the mental health calls that come in, to be able to find other resources so the police would not have to do it, so they can focus on crime and not focus on everyday citizens who are having a episode today, or having a breakdown because they don't have any money or anything. You haven't done anything on this program. I would love to have you on the show. Go ahead and give a phone call in 702-551-5261 so we can clear these things up. Okay, now I was supposed to have an interview with Dr. Umar. Shout out to Dr. Umar. I love Dr. Umar. I love everything that he's doing. I do have questions, though, and I wanted to be able to ask these questions because I didn't do all this work for nothing, being able to get this together. I want to be able to sit down with him, but maybe this will entice him to be able to come sit with me. Okay, so some of the questions that I had for you, I'm going to go over, and maybe you can be able to chime in and help us. Call in, Dr. Umar, 702-551-5261. One of my questions was, here in Las Vegas, you've been here a few times, but I've had people ask me, okay, where would they go to get any additional information on Pan-Africanism? Okay, I have not, I don't know any. And it would have been great to be able to ask you these questions so people could be able to understand what it is. So that was the second question. What is Pan-Africanism? And what additional organization that is out there today would be equivalent to Pan-Africanism? So I can get a visual and understand who you guys are, or what your actual cause is. Okay. Other questions that I had for you were seeking knowledge questions. Okay, so what are two things that you feel like the black African American, whatever you want to call us, Moors, whatever you guys are calling us, because I don't know what we at. What do you call us? That's a question. Okay, what do you call us? Okay, and tell me, who are two people who are feeding you? Like, who are two people that's giving you knowledge where you are feeling like, ooh, that's great information, I would love to get that out? Who are you seeking? Because I sit on YouTube and I search through all type of different leaders and scholars and things like that, and I'm not. I just want to be able to pick your brain and see who you're looking at. In the library, okay, let's say that every black person has the library. What book? 2 books would you put into the library? And these are questions for anybody. Okay, these were geared towards Dr. Umar, but anybody can answer these questions if you have them. Okay, what are 2 books that I should have as a black woman in my household that's going to help me find, research history, culture, background, moving forward, all that? Then I saw that you had a book called Psycho. I think let me find it. Anatomist, Holocaust, the Special Education and ADHD War Against Black Boys. Okay, just let y'all know, this book does have a 4.8 star rating, and it was 93 people that did the star rating. Okay, but Dr. Umar, your book is $324.05. Who did you write this book for? Because the average person period, not black, not white, not Mexican, purple, green, or orange, can afford a book that's $324.05. I would love to read it. I have not read it as of yet because my budget, my bank account say different. Okay, but who did you write this book for? And what do you want people to get out of this book? Why do you believe this book is worth $324.05? Okay, and I heard that you had a new book coming out. This new book is called For the Sisters Only, Rules of Romance. Okay, and I'll be seeing you online. Okay, but I want to know more about this book. You said this book is coming out. When is the book coming out? What are the details about this book? And how much is the book? Okay, I wanted to ask you questions about the school. Okay, and these questions came from listeners also. And I wanted to know, what is the name of the school? Where is it located? Have you ever thought about making this school an online school, being able to touch more people and being able to get more people enrolled by not having just a brick and mortar? Those are my own questions. I think that would actually help in the development of the school, and so people wouldn't have to just move there or be able to send their child there for like border schools, stuff like that, or whatever. What do you think? What do you think about an online school for the school that you're doing? Okay. What is the website? How do people register their kids, and how do they apply for jobs for your school? All right. I was listening to a video clip of you speaking about ADHD versus lazy disability. I was very interested in that and want to hear your details on the difference. Okay. HBCU questions. Okay. Affirmative action. I actually have a clip about affirmative action that I want to speak to you guys about. I might have to wait on that one to be able to do, but I do have a couple questions about affirmative action. Okay. I had questions about Cornel West. I saw that you had words, well, not words with Cornel West, but you were speaking on a podcast about Cornel West running for president. Okay. I am all for that. I'm always for black scholars to be able to move forward with helping our people and making themselves present in the political world, so they know that we're here and we have support. Okay. But what you said was that you didn't believe that Cornel West was running for just black people, that he was pushing a multicultural agenda. And then Cornel West responded to you and said, "You are right, sir. I am not just pushing a black agenda because I am running for the president of the United States. And that would make me only have an outlet of just black people," when he says that it's going to take all of us for us to be able to change this country. Now, anything you know, any conversation you've seen on CNN, Fox News, or wherever you've seen Dr. Cornel West, you have seen that he talks about black people, but you are stating that on his website it is nothing but multicultural agenda. Okay, I agree with Dr. Cornel West on this. You cannot promise just to do stuff for black people and then still be able to run for president and have those other people vote for you. I do feel that Cornel West had to speak to the fact that the People Party, which is basically the Black People Party, offered him a position to run for president out of their party. Okay, Cornel West decided that he was going to run with the Green Party because it is more of like a independent party. Is a higher amount of people involved in that party, and he would get more exposure. I don't think he is wrong for doing this because he was going to get more money, more exposure for doing this from the Green Party. Black people, why would you shun him if he decided not to run with the People's Party but with the Green Party? This is a question for you because I have my own thoughts. Okay, call in 702-551-5261. So we can be able to get a better understanding of where you from. Dr. Cornell West, call in 702-551-5261. We want to know your perspective and why. Why would you choose to go with the Green Party over the People Party? And was it about us being unified first, or was it about us being able to win the presidency? Question for you, sir. I have a clip on reparations, and I have a clip on affirmative action, and both of those questions, I want to make sure that we get into those. Okay, before I go into those two clips, the first one would be about the affirmative action and what's happening with that. I wanted to ask these questions. Okay, now, Dr. Umar, I've heard you say that we come from Africa. These are, to be honest, these are things that I heard my whole entire life growing up. We came from Africa and everything else, but there's a lot of scholars and a lot of influencers that are out there today that are basically saying that we are the indigenous people and native to the American. Okay, where do you believe that our origin came from? Are we really from Africa, or were we everywhere? Are we African at all? Okay, and what do you think about the Moors and the Israelites? What do you think about these different groups? Now, I do have a couple of different friends who are that talk about this openly on YouTube and stuff like that. But I want to say that the first thing when I go into this affirmative action information, I want to say that a couple of weeks ago, the Supreme Court voted to basically take away affirmative action. And the day after this happened, 4 women of very, very large corporations were fired. Okay, let's go ahead and go into the clip, and then we'll talk about it right after.
We all have heard a lot about the United States Supreme Court getting rid of a portion of affirmative action, which says that it is now illegal for a school, college or university rather, to allow someone to attend due to their race. So basically, if you're black or another person of color, you cannot get in on that alone, right? You need to be other stuff. Well, anyway, it was discovered that 4 black women in high positions in different corporations were fired a day after that decision was made. So let's take a look at it. You have the Disney Chief Diversity Officer, Latondra Newton, says she was let go. Then you have Warner Brothers Discovery lays off diversity executive Karen Horn. Then Netflix first head of inclusion, Verna Myers, to step down after 5 years. Then we're going to move on to Film Academy's executive VP of Impact and Inclusion, Janelle English. So those women seem like they were in positions of diversity and inclusion and things like that, right? Now, I don't think it's a secret that a lot of companies felt pressured to make roles like that because of maybe affirmative action, or we need to include black people in positions of power in white companies. Well, I don't know if that's why those companies got rid of those sisters, but it's plausible, right? It wouldn't be far-fetched if they did that and said, well, we don't need to, include them because they're black. Now, admittedly, the affirmative law that's been changed is dealing with colleges, not jobs yet, from what I understand. But my thing is this. We hear a lot about sisters getting in these high, powerful positions, and they help build all these companies and things like that. And, it's a flex for black women. But that also should tell us something. These white people putting these sisters in those positions of power per se, but for what? So they can fill a quota? It's not.
Okay, so this was one of the biggest arguments that I've had when I talk about civil rights and I talk about affirmative action and and basically separate but equal. Okay, so newsflash, it didn't help us to sit into these white people's diners and stuff like that and them throw food and stuff on us. All we did was end up giving people who didn't want our money, who don't respect us, a way for them to still discriminate against us. Okay, so you see all these large corporations had these black women in these positions, which they put these women in positions for the last 5-6 years. Okay, since they've been having issues with race and everything else, and they trying to keep buying our culture. They put these women into place, and then the day after affirmative action was removed, they removed them. But if these were our platforms, black platforms, okay, we would not have to worry about them getting rid of us because of affirmative action, okay, because they only have a quota of how many black people they need, a quota of how many Mexicans they need, a quota of how many Asian people they need at these jobs. And then once they do that, then that's it. It's not like if we were back in the 50s and the 60s and they had a black law firm, okay, and that black law firm was able to take on all the black business that was in that community, then they would get the money and they would be able to put more money into our community. But no, we went along with this affirmative action shit, and this allowed them to say that at white law firm, they only have to have 2 black people, okay, and those people will never own this firm because they are not white and white. So the biggest issue I have is we set ourselves up for failure. My Mexican brothers and sisters, listen to me. We set ourselves up for failure trying to fit in with these people who did not want us, okay? And if you notice, the Hispanic people have noticed that don't work for them. That you know what? Trying to get in with them, they don't want to hire us for the pay that they want to hire us, that we're supposed to be paid for. We're going to have our own grocery stores. We're going to have our own radio stations, our own schools, our own this, our own that. And in that, they're able to empower their own community. They're able to do what they want. But we are still stuck with our hand out asking them for reparations about stuff they're not going to give us because they didn't already spent that money. You know that one cousin, they be like, you know what I'm saying, I really need this $125 for my light bill. I need it. And you be like, you know what? You my cousin. I love you. I don't want you over there with the kids, with the lights out and everything else. I'm going to give you the money. And then 2 weeks later, because they told you they would go pay you in 3 days, 2 weeks later, you run across them like, I'm going to give you a little money. Okay, but I ain't got it. But you know that money is in the wind. You know that you never go get it. You know she gonna sub you on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? All this additional shit. This is what is happening with us for reparations. Okay, you keep asking for your money, and they done already spent it, and now they done told everybody she keep harassing me for this $125. She knew I didn't have no job when she gave it to me, type stuff or whatever. They spent your money. Okay, and you're not going to get it back. So where does the fight start now? All right, so I want y'all to actually know what reparations is, and then I'm going to talk to you about who actually got reparations, who didn't, and we have a clip. Let's go ahead and go into the clip.
They are growing louder in America. With those calls comes a renewed interest in reparations. Reparations are the act of making amends to someone or a group of people who have been wronged. Germany paid billions of dollars in reparations to Holocaust victims or their families and to Israel after the Nazi atrocities of World War II. And in 1988, the U.S. paid more than 80,000 Japanese Americans who were held in internment camps during World War II. They each got $20,000. But African Americans have never gotten reparations for their 246 years of slavery. Lawmakers have introduced bills in Congress to study reparations and whether it's possible, but most have never gotten very far. In 2008, the House of Representatives issued an apology for slavery. And in 2019, bills to study and develop a proposal for reparations were introduced into both houses of Congress. But the legislation languished. Recently, there's been renewed interest, like the Harriet Tubman Community Investment Act, which the Maryland General Assembly is considering. The Brookings Institution says it could be a possible blueprint to what reparations could look like for Black Americans. Under this act, the descendants of slaves in Maryland could receive the following repayments. Tracing the descendants of slaves will be one major challenge. Unlike victims of the Holocaust and Japanese internment camps, there are not a lot of paper trails for the descendants of slavery. The census didn't count Black Americans until 1870, and unlike immigrant groups who have their history documented at Ellis Island, there's no central historical database for the descendants of slaves.
Okay, you're not getting the money, okay? As much as we fight for it, if they end up giving African Americans, Black people, Moors, Israelites, whatever you want to call yourself, if they decide to give it to us, we would break the country. Tell me one person in this world that's gonna give you all their money, especially if they stole it from you. Fair and square stole it. Okay, they stole it. All right, and we are not going to get it back. And until we stop giving our money back to these organizations and corporations who were involved in this, who are now funding government today, who are now benefiting from this Black culture movement and everything else, we will stay in this situation where they owe us money. And you will never have it in your hands. So questions about reparations. One for Joe Biden. Where are you? Okay, because you talk all this mess and you keep stealing the Black woman's vote. You keep playing with us. Okay, like you keep playing with us you know how you had a crush on one dude, you got a crush, you like, you know what, I got a crush on him, he's so sweet, everything else, and you keep doing nice stuff for him, and then you realize that he just doing it because he know you'll do it. So then you be like, you know what, forget him. I'm gonna date his cousin. We go leave. We are going to leave you, okay, and get to another. We go somewhere else. But because y'all keep doing this, the Democratic Party continues to steal the Black woman vote and keep lying to us like you go help us. And until we wake up and realize that this dude is using us, okay, that he living in our house for free. His cell phone on our bill. He don't pay it. Okay, we married and now I gotta pay his child support to his baby mama. This is what's happening over and over again, and because we look stupid looking at these people like they go keep helping us every 4 years. I'm gonna vote Democrat because they're gonna help us. They're gonna love Black people. They're not gonna do it. It's not gonna happen. Okay, we are literally keep getting spent back and forth, and until we decide that our vote is worth more, okay, than just a one-night stand, because that's all we get. We get glorified for the first day, and then they don't say shit else about Black women until it's time for them to get another vote. Stop doing the shit. Dr. Umar, my question for you was that you stated that the Jewish people owe us for reparations. America owes us for reparations. England or Europe owes us for reparations. And you said Africa does not. Why? Why don't they owe us? Okay, I saw this video of you stating this. Okay, you were stating that Africa did not owe us for reparations. If they did not sell us, then we would not have been here. Okay, trickery or not, if you got tricked into it or not, at that time slavery was not that type of slavery. You could be able to buy yourself out of slavery and everything else. It was supposed to be just war victims or war criminals or whatever. You sold us. You owe us just like the rest of them. Wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong. Please speak on this, Dr. Umar. Why do you believe that Africa doesn't owe us for reparations? I believe they owe us. Now, I believe they can pay us back in land that they have there. I think that they can pay us back with visas and jobs and grants and stuff like that to be able to help us get back home. Okay, I'm not saying that they just got to come out. They do got to come out the pocket. Wrong is wrong. Tell me why you think that they don't owe us. Okay, all kinfolk, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I'm not saying anything wrong about Africans. What I'm saying is you owe us too, okay? Because your actions put us in the situation that we're in now 300-400 years later. So you do owe us, okay? And we need a hug and I'm sorry, all that, okay? Because regardless on you not feeling, well, I didn't think slavery was gonna be that hard for you. Who the hell just thinks slavery ain't gonna be hard for nobody? I'm confused. Okay, so no, Dr. Umar, I disagree with you, and I believe that Africa owes us for reparations also. Okay. Dr. Cornell West, what are your thoughts on reparations? And are you going to push forward with us being able to get reparations? Now, you know, every black leader that we get that goes into talking about reparations end up dead. And you about to be on a platform. Okay. Do you have the moss with you and behind you to make sure that you don't get shot? Okay. Who are you hiring for security is my question. If you running for president, who is the head of security? Okay, because the Nation of Islam looking real good right now. Looking real good. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I wanted to go into okay, so I just have a few more questions for Dr. Umar, and then we can go on to talk about anything else. Dr. Umar, why do you say things 3 times? I want to know. I know that you say that. You say it because, you know, in a lesson, saying it 3 times makes people remember. I know that. But sometimes it just seems like you looking for something to say. You were speaking about the Chicago project. I was very interested in that because I believe that this is happening all over the country, okay, in all predominantly black neighborhoods. Please elaborate on what the Chicago project is and how, as black people, are we supposed to respond to this movement of the government pushing the illegal immigrants to these black neighborhoods? How are we supposed to respond to that? This question is for everybody. What is your thoughts on Ancestry.com and etc.? You know, the leaf and all the rest of that stuff. I'll tell you what I think. I believe I told you guys this already, but I don't believe that we should ever, as black people, put our DNA into the Ancestry.com thing, right? The reason why I say that is because if I am a person who is trying to destroy the black people, or don't feel like they should be getting any reparations or royalties of them being kings and queens and us stealing us as America, stealing their shit. Okay. If I wanted to be able to cancel those people out the first place, I would be in their DNA, because it would tell me who's related to who. So if I was saying, if I am a against God, against Jesus person, and I'm not saying I am not against God, against Jesus, I love him. But what I'm saying is, if I was a person who was trying to destroy that Christian background or whatever the case may be, and I find out who is related to Jesus, I would kill those people. Unalive those people to make sure that his legacy does not move on. If I know that there are certain black people, you know, we have sunken cities and things like that where they owe us money because they seized our land, they seized our businesses, they push us out, they murder us and everything else. And each one of those social security numbers is a plan. Your birth certificate is money. It's money. They owe us for those people. And if I felt like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay these people back, I would unalive these people so I would not have to, if I had the power, right? Not me in general, not me, but I'm saying these wicked people. I would unalive these people, okay, or incriminate them. Let's say that your Uncle Juju, okay, was a thug back in the day. He was in LA, you know what I'm saying? He was in the Hoovers and all the rest of that stuff, or whatever. Did some stuff he ain't had no business. But these days, Uncle Juju is a pastor and he is good for the community and he has changed his life and everything else. But maybe back then, at 14 years old, he may have did something, may have killed somebody or was involved in something, and his DNA was sitting there, but they never knew who his DNA was. And here comes little cousin Sally deciding that she go do Ancestry.com. They get a bing on her, realize that she's too young to be the person to do the murders, but they can put it together that Uncle Juju was in this area at the time of the murder, okay? And now he is now on trial for something that happened 20, 30 years ago. I just don't think that I don't want to get Uncle Juju in trouble. Does that make sense? Okay. I don't want, if I did something back in the day and my son puts in some stuff into ancestry.com and they bing my DNA, I'm in trouble. Even if I change my life around and everything else. Okay. So just your own thought process on that. I had questions about, I did have questions about the Snow Bunny Mafia. Okay. What is the Snow Bunny Mafia, Dr. Umar? I know it's white girls, but what kind of white girls? Like, is mixed girls involved in that? How about Hispanic girls? I mean, like, if let's say that her mama was light skinned and her daddy is mixed. Okay. So, like, what is she? Like, is she a part of the Snow Bunny? I'm confused. I was confused about that. I wanted to know. Okay. Now, on to other news. Okay. So, Dr. Umar, I had a couple questions. I still want to be able to sit down with you. I have so many more. But those were the questions that I had. And one other question I had for you is that when you were in Barbados, you described 5 dysfunctional black men. And I searched all over YouTube looking for the rest of the video to find out, because you also said you had 5 dysfunctional black women. And we did not get those descriptions on there. Please go into detail about who these 5 women are and what they look like. Okay. If you guys have not noticed that Niger is actually going through a coup and the president has been overthrown. They are running wild over there. My thoughts and prayers for the people who have to deal with political power when they have nothing to do with it and not going to benefit from it. Okay. A couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Jess Hilarious had responded to a person that was speaking about transgender and speaking about women keeping periods and birth of children and everything else. Okay. Before I go into this, let me first say this. Okay. When have black women ever really got into it with trans and gay men? Never. Okay. And this was not an argument for everybody. This was one person with their one statement, and all of a sudden everybody got ballooned into it. Okay. There has been, in many of our lives, black women have stood, okay, always had a cousin, an uncle, a brother, a friend who may have not been super masculine. And that was our friend, and we fought with them to the end. Somebody tagged Cherry Boom into this conversation. We have never gotten into it. It's not, and I'm going to be honest, it's not until white women and white men who want to be women got into this conversation and started doing this additional argument. Let me tell you something, okay? First things first, okay? The heightened amount of crimes against gay people, transgender people, and things are horrible. As a human being, which I'm not, okay, I'm a God, okay, but living on this earth, okay, it is never okay to bully people or harass people. We had a little incident the other day where a guy was stabbed in his stomach because they were dancing at their car. When those men who came out of the gas station could have mind their damn business, okay? And then when the guys that was dancing at the car could have been able to say, you know what, fuck them. I'm not going to sit here and deal with their shit, and get in the car and go. But because everybody's in heightened and everybody feel like they need to argue, people are not making smart decisions on arguing. Now this person is dead because of an argument about them wanting to dance on their car at a gas station. Okay, so I am so against that. And then on top of that, I want to say this to the person who did the video about women gatekeeping periods. You can have it, girl. You can have it. I had it since 11 years old. I tried to give it back 2 months after I got it. They ain't never took it back. Nobody is gatekeeping a period, okay? Nobody wants it. Nobody is sitting at home like, oh, I wish I had a period. Nobody is doing that. Okay, so for Jess, I'm going to speak this. Jess, call in 702-551-5261. This is the last time I'm going to speak on this, okay? She shouldn't have made everybody fit into this one box, because that's not true. Okay? But I understand where she's coming from, because it is, and it feels like disrespect coming from the transgender community when you can't just call me a woman. Like, I find power in you saying I am trans. Okay, I see the power in that. I see that you telling them I don't give. It doesn't matter if I'm a man or a woman. I'm still beautiful. I would, if I had to pick, I would rather be a beautiful feminine energy than just a woman, because we don't get much respect as women. Okay, and for someone to come and say that we're going to take over your being, that's why women feel disrespected. Okay, I have no problem with calling you sis. I have no problem calling you if you want me to pronounce to say that you are a woman. No problem. Okay, but the problem, and I this is why I wanted y'all to tag Cherry Boom. The problem I have is that when a woman does speak to it and say, we don't like to be say we don't want to be called cisgender or cis woman or anything like that, then y'all jump on us like men. Okay, because there was a conversation on Big O the other day, and Cherry Boom, who I love, okay, period, point blank, I have followed her for years. I love this. I love her point of view. I love seeing her online. She's funny. She's everything. She's also transgender, okay, which I felt is powerful. All right, but she got into it because another woman on her live, she was expressing that she loved women and that she didn't understand why we was fighting either, because I just don't understand why we fighting. Like, we care so much about y'all, okay? We fashion, all the rest of the stuff and everything. We get along. We have always been like this together. Why are we fighting amongst each other when we ain't never did this before, right? So that was the conversation. And then a woman came on and said, stop calling us cis women or cisgender or whatever, and instantly she went into you pussy hole, woo woo woo, and all this stuff, whatever. And before I could think of her being a woman, a sister of mine, I saw a man yelling at a woman. That's what I saw. I saw the audacity of a man yelling at a woman about her feeling like she felt a certain type of way. You want us to feel a certain type of way. You want us to say, okay, you want to be a woman, you are a woman. You want to have the identity of a woman, no problem. I should not be able to say anything hurtful to you as a woman. I should not, right? Same thing with you. Respect the fact that we are asking you that we don't want to be called that. Know that we love you. But there are boundaries on both sides of us, and we need to do this as a family, because in a family, you work it out and you move forward with family. I love y'all. This is the Chisholm Report. I am Kristie J. Stop in at 10 a.m. on Saturday, every Saturday, so we can be able to talk that shit in politics. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week on hot702.5fm.com. If you see somebody out there grinding, let them know you see them shining. I love you guys.
Buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president, yeah. I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream.